Once you distinguish what type of victim you're talking about, and then with conversation, you see what I'm saying?
Which is, you know this from your own studies, how the ancestors or spirits are trapped in the ionosphere, and so on and so forth. We're not going to get into all that. That's a whole other subject. God realm, brother.
It is
God realm.
It's levels to
this. It's levels to this shit. Now, wait. I don't want to get into that. But anyway,
let's stick with
our ancestors took these metallic, very specifically created objects, combined with copper, combined with crystals, combined with gold, combined with silver, strategically made to be extreme conductors of these multi-layers of atmosphere and these multi-aspects of electrons within our environment all around us at one time. Here's the proof. Every time you step across your carpet and you touch your metallic doorknob,
you get
what happens?
Electrical charge. You get
now they call that friction. Now let's be honest. Anything that has the ability to happen on a small scale, doesn't it have the same ability to be transferred or recreated on a larger scale?
Right. Definitely.
That's back to the micro of the macro.
Right.
So if I can take my cotton socks, dance all over my carpet, and then go touch my doorknob, am I able to invent something that maybe has a giant cotton ribbon around a giant wheel? I spin it mechanically, drag it across a carpet surface for an hour and change, and then take a giant piece of iron, metal, copper, whatever might be the most conductive based on my experiments to find out which is the most conductive, touch it upon that and get a gigantic charge. There's your jet pillar.
So what essentially we're making this, we're generating this electrical charge in the use of what? What are we using this electrical charge for? Right? Because we're generating this big electrical charge, this energy. We're creating energy. Or actually, that's the wrong term because energy can never be created nor destroyed.
You're harnessing it. You're
harnessing energy or manipulating energy. Correction. What are we using that for?
Now, remember how I started out? I started out with talking about our technology.
Okay.
To this day, they still don't understand how we can be miles and miles inside of a pyramid and literally make inscriptions from bottom to top, ceiling to floor, of precise and perfect hieroglyphs or medunetia without no trace of soot from any candles. You know what these dumbass white people tried to say? That we took multiple mirrors and took a mirror all the way at the top of the pyramid where the sun was shining, and then reflected off another mirror, then another mirror, then another mirror, then another mirror, all the way down to the bottom of the chamber to put light into the chamber. That's what they tried to say. You know why they tried to say that? Because they wanted to ignore the actual inscriptions and hieroglyphs that they saw with us carrying giant light bulbs into these chambers. And I know you've heard this because this is why we're in the God realm, because I'm talking to a brother that studies. But this is how we know this is because I'm sure you've heard Bobby Hemmett speak about this. The Kundalini fire that exists at the base of your bottom chakra. When mastering the energy of the so-called Kundalini. Now, what is your spine essentially? Your spine is a jet pillar. Your spine is a conductor. Right. Your spine is the accumulation of neurons in it that as soon as one vertebrae is out of place, what happens?
Get a misalignment.
Not only that, what happens to your body?
Oh, well, you start having what you call a hunchback, or you start having...
Take it even deeper. If I remove a disc from your spine, what happens to you? One disc out of your, I forget how many is it, 30 something?
33.
33? One disc out of your 30 degrees of vertebrae. I remove one disc out of it. What happens to you?
Oh, yeah, you're done.
You paralyzed.
You're done. You're paralyzed.
You know why? Because I removed a piece of connection through that cord, which is a generator for your whole body. It's like having a circuit, and I just chop off one tiny piece of copper. Does the circuit work? No. Do I need a big piece or a little piece? Does it even matter how big the piece is? As long as the circuit is disconnected in any way, shape, or form, it does not conduct the power or the electricity to go through it to conduct the machine, which is your body.
Right. Wow. Big point there.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So we understood now, now this is even deeper than my real point was with the with the technology, because now I'm going to a point where we was able to light filament, or what they call filament today, which, by the way, a black man invented. Because remember, I believe it was Thomas Edison. Was it Thomas Edison or the other white guy? But one of these white motherfuckers who was inventing the light bulb fucked up 1,000,000 times until a black person fixed it. By putting the filament in the bulb. Okay. I forget the names at this point.
I heard about that too, but I forget the names.
I don't want to waste too much time trying to dig into my conscious records. Right. But anyway, the point of the matter is, we're talking the ability that we had to master the power of the bottom chakra and the Kundalini energy in order to light the filament of our ancient so-called light bulbs. Now we can take it even further than that. We can take it to the point that what we just talked about earlier, where we understood the aspect of accumulating a charge due to the conductive aspects of the metals we were using, which if you want to call it the uas, which is the key to the Nile, is another name for it, which if you want to call it the ankh, which is another metallic key of life, if you want to call it the jet pillar, which was the generator, which was the battery that you store that charge. Think about it. Above the surface, I'm conducting a machine that's generating a friction that's storing that so-called static electric charge. Now, I'm just using static electricity to relate it to what we know as today. Okay. But to be honest with you, it wasn't static electricity that day. It was ionic energy in the ionosphere. But I'm just using these things to relate it because I can put myself in a metallic suit, put on wool socks, and just start breakdancing on a carpet for an hour. And then go and touch a metallic object connected to a battery. And that charge, that spark, that'll probably fuck up my ass. But that charge, that spark, when I touch it and connect myself to that, and by the way, we're batteries ourselves because we're damn near 80% water. But that charge, that self, will be stored into that battery. Now, I can take that battery to the depths of the fucking earth if I want.
Oh, yeah.
And light up a whole chamber.
This is the level of technology we're talking about.
Now, and mind you, by the way, what I'm referring to is baby shit. That's baby technology. We're not even going to go into the crystal caps of the pyramids.
Crystal caps.
The crystal cap. Every pyramid had a crystal cap. Had a cap that was literally a stone crystal. Now, for lack of a better term, because right now I don't want to waste too much time digging through my mental archives, but let's say we're referring to a hematite crystal. Now, anybody that understands what hematite is a dark crystal. It's a dark crystal that has a silvery metallic look, but it's black, but it's like silvery. Now, what do we already know about blackness? It's an absorber. It's a conductor. So if that's at the top of a pyramid, what is it conducting? What is it absorbing 24/7?
It's sun.
The sun itself. So wait a second. Hold on. I'm gonna make one more connection, and then maybe we might end this. I know you might have to go, but today we have Wi-Fi towers. Look closely at a Wi-Fi tower. Or I don't even want to say Wi-Fi tower. Let's just say an electrical tower, whatever.
Extra low frequency?
Extra low frequency. Look closely at it.
Okay.
It's two things combined into one. if you look at it, it goes straight up. Then it has a point. But then at the same time, it has kind of charges or generators going through it. So where it's like this and then like this.
Okay.
Okay?
Right.
Now, what's one monument or structure that we had that went straight up but had a point at the top?
I know. Obelisk.
Obelisk, or the correct name of Tekken.
Tekken. Okay.
Now, what is the other symbol that if you look at it, it's the only symbol that seems to have either these rings or these lines going straight through it, looking almost just like what we see today as a generator. The Jed Pillar. The Jed Pillar. Okay. Right. Now, by the way, just here we go again. To connect this, look at your spinal cord. Your spinal cord is a cord going up, encased in bones, with vertebrae inside the bones. What do the bones look like in a spinal cord? They're like this.
Right. Okay. Yes.
They're like little arms coming out all the way down.
Right.
Why is that? Why can't your spinal cord just be a cord with just the bones going around it with no one of the arms going straight down? And if you notice, if you look at other spinal cords of animals or creatures, by the time it goes down, it turns into a tail, which it loses the arms on the side of it.
Okay.
We have to connect that because the Jed Pillar has outside aspects on the side of it.
So, in other words, we're saying that this is a big thing because when we look into Egyptian culture and we look into everything is going back to the point is a manifestation of yourself. Because we can look.
Correspondence.
This correspondence. We're going back.
As above, so below.
Yes. We're talking about, like we said, how we can we use the inner part of ourselves to generate light to the external world. This is just nothing but proof to the subject we was going on talking about as far as, as above, so below, the microcosm, macrocosm. It's just, I just wanted to bring that point. I want to bring this all back into our original, point that we were trying to make, that we are a replication of the universe. We are a replica of the universe. And so all of these are nothing but proofs of that. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And that's what we got to get back to is getting back into our inner selves. And understanding what the ego is, and understanding what our higher selves are, and how to program our higher selves so that we can so that the higher self, the spiritual part of ourselves, is controlling our ego. I think when we even get into some of these secret societies, which are, Masonry, and we got all these different kind of secret societies, I think those are some of the main subjects in there. How can we control this environment with our higher spiritual selves? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And I think that when we start to educate ourselves on that, learning about ourselves and how we did this at a masterful level, mm-hmm. because we are the original people on this planet, and how we were at such a great level, how can we get back to that? And how, as a whole, and so I just wanted to put that out there.
Well, Here's what I feel is one of our problems. We think that there's something that we need to get back to. Mm-hmm. We think that there's something that we need to connect with all people to achieve or accomplish, not understanding that we are already there and we've already been there. The only thing that you need to do is activate or access, because that 76 trillion years, that 2 billion years of history on this planet is inside encoded in your 6 to 22 strands of DNA.
Big point right there.
It's sitting there just waiting for you to say it's there. And you know what you're doing?
Yeah.
You know what you're doing? You're being a fucking human.
Okay.
You're being a human. You're wondering, how do I get there? Hold on. How do you get somewhere that's in you. See, that's our biggest problem. See, guardrail. See, this is guardrail right now.
Guardrail.
Because people attack me on social media for saying things a way that is not the preference to what they want to hear and how they want to receive the message. This is what lets me know the message ain't for you. This is what lets me know you're not part of the one or the handful that I'm here to activate.
Right.
Okay? Because at the end of the day, activation is simultaneous or immediate. It's not activation ain't a process. When I flick a switch, that's not a process. It's just on or it's off.
Right.
Simple.
That's just the way it is.
You see what I'm saying? What you call a process, the process that you go in order to be able to be activated. I ain't here to put you through that process to be able to be activated. I'm here to activate you. So for the fact of the matter that we think we have to go and get to a place, that we have to find a place, that we have to achieve a place, is already wrong. Because the fact of the matter is, everything is encased inside you as we speak right now.
Sure.
The only thing you have to do is actually really fucking believe it and stop saying it to sound cool, or stop saying it to claim yourself as being conscious. When I say I'm a god, I believe that shit. I know that shit. I'm not saying that shit to impress anybody outside of me, because I say that shit when I'm alone. I got recordings. I'll show you right now. I got recordings and affirmations talking shit to myself. You see, I could be left alone on this planet right now and know what I am. So therefore, how can my ego exist without others to judge me upon something that my ego has to deflect or defend? Therefore, my ego is microscopic. I'm not saying my ego don't exist. I'm saying it's microscopic compared to my intelligence and compared to my knowingness of what I am. And this is my point. I'm not here to save all black people. You know this already. Fuck all y'all niggas. See, I did one other video that got me to the guardrail, and I started doing the same shit I'm doing now. Fuck all y'all niggas. Fuck the bitches. Fuck the niggas, fuck the babies, fuck all that shit, because at the end of the day, isn't this all an illusion? And at the end of the day, aren't you a soul having a physical experience? So why the fuck do you give a fuck about anything physical? You see what I'm saying? If you truly believe the shit we talk, I'm talking about all of us. Social media, you're a soul having a human experience. We're all divine. But if you truly believe that shit, then nothing physical, nothing egotistical, nothing judgmental should ever be a concern or an effect to you whatsoever. Because at the end of the day, your ego is based upon your physical human existence. But as a God, as a divine being, as a spiritual being that transcends and expands beyond the physical realm, what is your lockdown? What is your concern? Are you concerned about the baby when technically no babies exist? You see what I'm saying? You see, I'm saying shit now that I usually don't say because we're in a God realm. I don't talk like this normally, but I'm talking like this because this is where me and you got to right now. But I'm saying shit that a lot of people are going to take the wrong way. But the fact of the matter is, fuck all of that shit. Because you're concerned about the babies. You're concerned about black people. You're concerned about the brothers and sisters that's getting locked up by the police. You know how every time I see a post about niggas getting locked up and beat up and all this dumb shit, you know the first thing that pops in my head? That's one of the niggas that's supposed to be in that shit. Because that nigga,
through that lesson,
he attracted that shit. He created that shit. And see, people are so stuck in their ego that, he was just selling cigarettes to feed his family. He didn't deserve to get shot for selling Lucy's. That's your ego saying you're justifying his action, which was a personal choice by him, by saying he did it for his family and his children, to justify you feeling something personal to somebody who's not you.
Right.
And then to justify the fact of the matter of that they are still a physical being stuck and trapped within a physical realm of submitting to their ego and submitting to a persona that says, you know what? I gotta sell cigarettes to feed my family. Instead of saying, hold up, nutrition is an illusion. See, when I was doing the certain things that I did, I'm not even gonna go into it. Certain things that I did for other people. My goal was to teach them they needed nothing. My goal wasn't to give them a whole bunch of shit. My goal was to get you to a mindset that you can literally go without nothing, because nothing within this physical existence makes you what you are. What you are is what you are by your existence, because you're beyond the physical body.
Right.
What emanates your physical body is your soul and your spirit.
Right.
Not a hamburger.
Right.
Not Gucci shoes. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
That's your persona.
Right.
That's your ego saying you need Gucci shoes. And let's be honest, you wouldn't even know what a Gucci shoe was until you reached a society teaching you that a Gucci shoe is the shit.
Yep.
You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But your soul and your spirit is what it is forever.
Right.
It don't need to be taught to be a soul.
Eternal. It's eternal. It goes beyond this realm. So that's a big point right there. I think what we want to do here is get a closure to this. This is God realm right here, and bringing everything together as far as who you are, what you are, the higher points of yourself, the lower points of yourself being your ego, the higher points of yourself being your true self, your spirit, your soul,
subconscious,
your subconscious mind. And we talk about the scientific form, we talk about your ego, and you talk about your subconscious mind. Let's say let's have this last reception on bringing everything together. If you can expound on this last moment or trying to bring everything together, if you can, in a way, where do we go from here as far as getting this knowledge? Where do we start? You know what I mean? If somebody for the first time is listening to this audio, you know what I mean? How does he start to accumulate? Where does he start? Does he start with some of the Egyptian mythology? Does he start with where does he start? Expound on that as an ending comment to this whole thing, if you can.
Well, first and foremost, when we think of where we start, as soon as we think of the word start, you have to equivalate that with the word end. Because once again, we're going back into the 7 laws of cause and effect. So if you're thinking of a start, then you also have to respond to an end. Fact of the matter is, we have no beginning and no end.
Right.
So technically, what you just said, if I'm speaking, see, once again, I'm locked in a guardrail right now, so I have to talk to you like a god.
Okay.
There is no start or there is no beginning, there is no end. So that person needs to start wherever the fuck they feel they at.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
If they want to fucking read about how the fuck we fell in love with soul food and ham hocks and pig feet, then that's where the fuck they need to start.
Okay.
Here's the key, though. The key is to not become content with where you start. And that's where I see a lot of us have fell into, and this is what I call a box. You start with studying the Moors, and then you get locked into only being a Moor. You start with studying Egypt, and then you get locked with only being a Cometian or an Egyptian. Okay. You start with studying Marcus Garvey, and then you get locked into only being an RBG flag-waving militant. You start with studying Malcolm X, and then you get locked into a civil rights fight for the people bullshit. The point of the matter is, you so-called, I don't even like to use that term, start. You so-called start with where you at and what you feel, because what you feel is not the logic. The logic is the lockdown. What you feel technically is the knowingness, because you know for a fact that this right here that moves you, that's a knowingness. You expand on that knowingness. Once again, the key is to not stop.
Okay.
Because no matter where you so-called start your expansion is irrelevant. The key is to not stop.
Keep accumulating as much knowledge.
You keep expanding. Once I study Malcolm, and I go all the way from the beginning when he was a drug dealer and a pimp and everything, all the way up to when he left the Nation of Islam, guess where I go after that? I go beyond Malcolm and I start studying Islam and where that came from. Then I go beyond Islam and I start studying the Rig Veda. And I start studying everything of that area where people say Islam started, so-called Middle East or Northeast Africa. Then I go beyond that and see where Rig Veda and all of that shit started. And then eventually I'm going to touch Kemet. Then eventually I'm going to touch Ethiopia and Nubia. Then eventually I'm going to touch Zing Empire. Then eventually I'm going to hit Atlantis. Then eventually...
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Just accumulation and keep digging in, because even when we leave this physical existence, we're still learning. We're still learning. I've heard of people's experiences as far as they were teaching people in the astral realms. You know what I mean? Because people in the astral realms that made the transition to this physical existence, they didn't know. They didn't accumulate the knowledge down here when they was on this physical existence, and so they're calling on people's spirit down on this physical existence in order to learn certain things. So,
and as they call them, let me just add into that. As they call them, they lock them down. They lock them down. I know you've heard this before. The fact I can't let go of Michael Jackson.
Oh, well, yeah.
Locks down his spirit or his energy. But anyway, my point of the matter is there is no start and beginning for us. There is the acknowledgement of what you feel and expanding upon the knowingness of what you feel and not stopping. Okay. That's my point.
Okay.
There is no start.
Right.
And there is no end. Because once you acknowledge a start, you have to acknowledge an end.
Okay.
Once you acknowledge life, you have to acknowledge death. Excuse me, better term. Once you acknowledge birth, you have to acknowledge death. That's why if you notice in this conscious community, we don't say happy birthday. We say happy solar return, happy Earth Day. You know, we say a whole bunch of shit, which is right. Excuse me. But we really say it out of ego because we don't want to use the common aspect, but we don't even understand what we're saying.
Right.
We really don't. We just saying to say it. But by the way, there's nothing wrong with that, because fake it till you make it. Let's be honest. Fake it till you make it. Fake being conscious until you really become that shit.
Right.
Fake being a god till you really become that shit. Make recordings of you telling yourself you're a god.
And using those affirmations.
Use them affirmations.
Right.
Put pictures up of yourself flying in a cloud or whatever the fuck you gotta do.
Use your imagination.
And what are we doing again? We're going right back to where you started this at, which is how do you program the subconscious mind?
Okay.
See, the key is to program yourself, not to allow something outside of yourself to program you.
Big point right there. Okay.
But on that note, brother, thankful and grateful as usual. And we had we had an hour and 28 minutes, brother. Minus
program with our day-to-day, working.
Now, what do we already know about blackness? It's an absorber.
Right.
It's a conductor.
Right.
So if that's at the top of a pyramid, what is it conducting? What is it absorbing 24/7?
It's sun.
The sun itself. So wait a second. Hold on. I'm gonna make one more connection, and then maybe we might end this. I know you might have to go, but today we have Wi-Fi towers. Look closely at a Wi-Fi tower. Or I don't even want to say Wi-Fi tower. Let's just say an electrical tower, whatever.
Extra low frequency?
Extra low frequency. Look closely at it.
Okay.
It's two things combined into one. If you look at it, it goes straight up. Then it has a point. But then at the same time, it has kind of charges or generators going through it to where it's like this and then like this.
Okay.
Okay?
Right.
Now, what's one monument or structure that we had that went straight